Hey, so I just wanted to upload this quick video for you guys. It is 14 minutes, probably something like that, but it's quick enough. Just some paintings that I did last week of a couple faces I saw on Pinterest. So I was just trying to do some studies and get some mileage under my belt, and I just wanted to talk to you guys about what I had learned through this process, because I feel like the best way I can only kind of teach what I'm learning is to talk about what I'm learning, because I don't know, I'm still learning a lot of this stuff. Like, I've only been painting for maybe like digital painting maybe like a year and a half, 2 years, and only until recently did I start taking it more, not more seriously, but more consistently, like painting all the time. So anyways, that logo on the bottom right is not going away for a little while in the video, maybe like 4 minutes, just because it's my webcam from my Twitch stream, and so it's kind of all over the place and it's distracting from the actual painting. So anyways, so the first thing I learned was about composition and how important it is to have everything kind of harmonize with one another in terms of color and also lighting and things like that. So the old man on the right, he didn't mesh at all with the painting, and not because he's old or anything, but because his entire lighting scheme was way different. Like, it just, I don't know, a lot of his colors just like stood out so much. He contrasted everything so much that I began to just stare at him and notice him, and it's almost like if you look at sketchbook photos, people when they do like my sketchbook tour, for instance, you'll see like one really good sketch in a book, and you'll just focus on that and ignore everything else. And the same thing kind of applies to sketches that aren't so good on like a page, or not really, but if something was like terrible on one page, you'd notice it like a sore thumb. That's what it kind of stood out like. Not that it was bad, it's just that the lighting is way different. So I cut it out and put it on a new file and everything, and repainted over. They kind of painted over it a bit because I want to keep all my studies so that I can look back on my progress as an artist. So the second thing that I had learned through doing this was about interpretation. So when you do music, you learn that when you do lyrics, the best kind of lyricists are the ones who are very almost poetic with their words, not in the sense that they just rhyme everything. A lot of pop music to people sounds generic because it gets right to the point. It tells you how they feel, hey, I just met you, here's my number, call me maybe. It's like very straightforward, like, here, this is what happened, and I'm gonna tell you how I feel about it. And there's only one way to feel about songs like that. Whereas songs like This Is America, for instance, with Childish Gambino, that song makes you feel a whole spectrum of emotions. And so with art, your job is to kind of be like a musician, where you are giving the audience just enough information, or let's say music or emotions or whatever, so that they can kind of feel. You don't even give them really emotions, you just give them enough so that they can feel what they want to feel, based off of what you were, it's like they interpret what you are saying and they feel their own way about it. And because they are so engaged with the song, it makes them see the value in it. It makes them kind of like, people begin to like a song so much more because it's like, man, it made me feel all these things, and it was an experience. And so, it's kind of hard to do that with studies, but it is possible, to leave the audience with just enough information. So one of the things you can do with that, for instance, is hair. And it's like, but I used to think that the best way to draw or paint hair was to do every single strand. Like most artists, we believe that, like, it's because we want it to look exactly like the reference photo. And the problem with that is you take so much away from the audience in terms of, like, they can see it, it's great. Like a lot of like realism or hyper-realism, it looks like, wow, how did this person do this? But they spend like 26 hours on an eyelash, or not exactly, but they spend like super long time doing all these micro details. and people look at it and they go, wow, oh, I thought that was a photo, you know. And a lot of times, like if you just put it in a room, someone might just skim over it and go, oh, that's a nice photo, and then carry on. And it's because, like, if it was a painting, someone might look at it and go, wow, you know, like they might look at some of the lines that you used and things and see that it's unfinished, and then their brain has to interact with the photo and finish the rest of it. So that's what's amazing to me, is how the brain actually adds in details that aren't there, or kind of meshes things and you know, does things with the face and things like that. So as you can see, I'm blocking in a lot of colors here, and I'm learning to kind of step back and maybe not do any of like the highlighted hair on his beard, for instance, which I did struggle with, but I said, you know what, I'm just going to try and keep it simple. And of course, I still have a lot to learn about this process. Like I'm still going to be practicing how to simplify things more and more and more. But simplifications are super important. Like, you know, anime does it. They simplified everything. So it's all just about interpretations. And I was wondering if maybe, you know, like fine arts, they were like, fine arts is a prime example of this. I was like, oh man, maybe fine arts, you know, does every micro detail, like every eyelash. So I went back and I found a fine artist that I really, fine artist, I went to find an artist who does fine art that I really like, by the name of Roberto Ferri. He is a painter that I follow on Instagram, and he has a website. But his stuff is like, wow, it's like super like sculpturesque, kind of olden, like I say olden, I mean like Da Vinci times, you know, I don't know what era that is, but very, very beautiful paintings. And I went to go look at how he does hair, and they don't do every strand. They just do an interpretation, simplified strokes. They do render quite a bit, like kind of the forms, and show the turning of the form. But they do understand as well that the audience needs to be engaged with the painting. So of course there's some creative parts that do help with that, and there's a whole bunch of facets that do kind of go together to make you engaged as an audience member. Oh yeah, you know, you're an audience member, you know. You listen to some songs, you know, like one of my favorite songs as well, Frank Ocean, Nights. My friend and I used to sit and talk about this song, about what we thought the song meant, and like, yeah, you know. So again, look at the beard right there. You can see how like there's little, you know, I know you're looking at the mouth, and I actually stopped on the teeth, because I was like, I'm not gonna do all these details right now because I'm trying to just do studies. But with his beard, there's little spots of color, and I actually do it with, light, and I start doing it with her dreadlocks later on, where I just kind of simplify everything. And I'm starting to practice this more, because number one is it allows you to spend less time painting and do more mileage, so that when you do actually sit down and do details, man, do they ever come out amazing. So oh, sorry, yeah, I meant to edit this out. This is just some stuff from my Twitch. Kind of took a break. So anyways, yeah, so that's essentially what I was learning, is just kind of simplifications and how to let your audience interpret your paintings, and to paint like a musician, which sounds weird, but to essentially think like a musician when you're painting. When you're writing lyrics, don't say exactly what you want to say, just kind of hint at it. So hint at a line, hint at a, you know, whatever it happens to be, just hint at the colors and the shapes, because the brain will feel, especially with landscapes, and I'll do some paintings of those. So yeah, I didn't really want to talk too long. There's 5 minutes left on this video, so you guys just really enjoy the rest of the painting, and we will keep learning together, and you guys will see what I'm learning about painting and stuff. And yeah, so also the new sketchbook video is probably going to come out sometime this week. I won't promise anything, maybe tomorrow, but yeah, like I said, maybe. So anyways, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it so much. So have a good day.